Guys, coming up next, I have the most delicious sauce that you can use for pasta, pizza, and bread. This summer garden sauce is so easy to make, and I can't tell you how many times I've had to double and triple this because we go through so much of it. For that recipe, head on over to kcknh.com. Find me on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube, and be sure to like, subscribe, and share. So whether you're in the mood for pasta, if you're making homemade pizza at home, or even if you're just interested in some garlic bread, a little bit of Munchables, this sauce will work in all areas here. And the beautiful part about this is you can grab everything from your favorite farm stand, your local grocery store. Everything is easy to find. That's the best part. Now, we do use a little bit of wine in this. There is no equal substitute. Just remove it if you have a problem with alcohol. So first things first, we're going to get our stewed tomatoes draining. Now, I've got a container separately set up here so I can reserve that tomato juice. I'm actually going to use that for something else, so I certainly don't want to get rid of that. Now we're going to drain as much as we can to begin with. That tomato juice can easily be used in anything else, guys, or just simply drink it. I like to use mine for making homemade barbecue sauce. So we're going to return the strainer with the tomatoes back into the bowl. And now, carefully, before you have some juice bombs happen, we're going to gently peel away the flesh. You don't have to worry about the innards. Honestly, it's more flavor. But we want to break these down and we want to get rid of the extra juice that's inside these tomatoes. As you can see here, it's going to be a little bit of a job to do, but I like doing it. It's actually kind of comforting. A weird satisfaction thing I've got going on. And you can gently press this to get any extra fluid out. You're going right back into that bowl and into your favorite container. I want to be able to keep the flesh as intact as possible. So at this point, I've got this drained pretty good. I'm pretty happy with what I've got. I'm going to put that into the sink while I drain off the bowl of this tomato juice here. And now we're going to work on getting this back over the bowl. We do see a little bit of drainage left that can happen, so let it sit for like 10-15 minutes, because that's usually the last of it that comes out. So now we have our drained stewed tomatoes, and they're going to go right back into that bowl. Now off to the side, we move that bowl. We're going to do our shallots, thin slice. Doesn't have to be wicked thin, guys, but we do want to keep it as consistent as possible. Now, if you can't find shallots or they're wicked pricey, just use some red onion. It's going to give you the same result. But just be mindful that your cuts have to be thin and small. And as I slice these up, I'm just tossing them in a bowl. They're just going right in that bowl with the tomatoes. It's just easy to do. And this isn't really a whole messy. This really is easy and fun to make, in my opinion, and it's delicious. So we'll move the bowl back again. We're just going to roughly chop up some garlic. We're going to need a small high-powered blender for this next step. Some of these ingredients are actually going to get blitzed into a fluid. So I got 4 scallions here. We're going to take the butts off. And the rest of it, we're just going to roughly chop it. It doesn't have to be perfect. Managed to get a great deal at a local farmer's market on these. I was very happy to take these home. And then we're going to go ahead into pulling some basil leaves. 8 to 10 good sized. There's no accuracy here. Do consider using basil stems. There's a lot of flavor. Just don't use the last ½ inch of it because it's a little woody. So I got this container ready here. We're going to put everything into this. This is how flippin' easy it is, guys. It's so ridiculously easy. Now we are going to use some olive oil or use your favorite neutral oil. It's up to you. It's not very picky on that, but I do like olive oil. I am going to put some fresh parsley in that I've washed and drained. And I'm doing both leaf and stem here. The stems have a lot of good flavor. It gives a lot of the garden flavor I'm aiming for. So I'm putting in my olive oil now, and we've got a couple of dried spices that I'd like to be able to get into the cup. Very simply put, we got some dried oregano, a couple heaping pinches, healthy pinches really. And the granulated onion is certainly an important flavor I'm looking for. It has a different note than onion and shallots and scallions. It's a whole different, beautiful flavor all on its own. A little bit of roasted flavor comes out of that. So as you can see here, all inclusive, this pot needs to be blitzed down to a fluid. And look at the gorgeous green color. Oh my God. I didn't even edit this section of my recording. That's how vibrant it is, guys. And the smell is just amazing. Now I did eventually put a little bit of salt and pepper in here. No measuring. Up to you guys. You're in charge. In fact, a lot of this will leave you in charge of flavoring things. So this is a great way to build up a palate. But look at the color. I'm a real sucker for the bright colors that'll come out of working with the food. And now that we've got this blitzed again, I have here the need to taste test to make sure I have enough garlic flavor. I used about 1 ounce to 1.5 ounces of garlic, which really is a lot. And honestly, guys, you're going to want it because it's going to get mixed into this bowl here. Now, I did put an additional 1/4 cup of olive oil into this. We are working with a big batch. So I'm putting in 3 or 4 heaping tablespoons to begin with. I want to build this, mix it as I go. Sometimes when you're working with colors of red and green, sometimes they might cancel each other out. That's why we wanted to blitz that separately. And I like the texture of stewed tomatoes. So we've gone ahead and we've added the rest. And I'm just trying to mix this all in together. You can see the green there. And we're just making sure everything is mixed well. No clumped up tomatoes, no clumped up shallots. Now, if you want to continue with this as is, this is vegetarian. I'm using Parmigiano Reggiano. Or for people who are vegan, you can use your nooch, which is giving you that beautiful cheddar-like flavor. You may want to pulse that into a fine powder, though. You don't want a whole bunch of flakes of it in there. And after doing up the cheese, we're going to mix this again. We don't add a lot of salt into this because that cheese is going to have the salt element. That's the beauty of this. We've got a lot of flavor balancing here, and it's low maintenance, guys. Easy to make. So I'm going to show you how I use this in a pasta. Off camera, I have my water boiling, and we're going to get our mafaldine boiling up to less than 2 minutes from its cooking time. So any pasta you choose, do 2 to 3 minutes less because you want to be able to put that pasta into the pan. Now I have selected fresh tomatoes, red peppers, and mushrooms for this. I did have some zucchini which I tossed into my summer sauce here. And we're going to let the heat take control. Very little salt and pepper is in the pan. I had a little bit of olive oil. This is going to sweat down so fast, so you don't want to walk away. I have this on medium-high heat, give or take, and I'm just making sure that there's nothing burning here. So this was the tail end of what I had left of my summer garden sauce. So a lot of it was almost like a pesto, if you will. Beautiful notes of garlic are coming through here. I do have some stewed tomatoes that are actually in there. And we're going to toss to coat. Now, because we're doing pasta, You do want to grab a little bit of the pasta water into the pan. It's very important because we are going to develop a sauce. So if you take note here, we've got everything mixed and combined. I've got this to the point where I don't want to cook it any further. And as you can see, the colors are still vibrant. That's what we want to achieve. We go any further, it's going to start looking brownish and looking like mud. You don't want that. And here where I'm adding some really teeny tiny tomatoes that I found on sale. Oh, they're little bubbles of sweet. And when the heat hits them, sometimes they might pop, so just be careful. But they do add an element of sweet into this, so you don't need to do any sugar whatsoever. So we're just going to let the heat do its job. And probably not even 2 minutes it's going to take. I already started seeing some changes into those tiny little tomatoes there. Now I'm going to add a little bit of pasta water. And I'm going to hit this with some Parmesan Reggiano. I don't like to pre-shred my cheese. I do not like it. I like to shred it as I go. It's entirely up to you. I do not use the packaged cheese. I want to be able to control what goes into the pan here. And I don't want this to thicken right away. So that's why I'm gradually building this. Now, as you can see here, we're now draining that mafaldine. We're going to put all into that pan. And I did about 2 minutes less on the cooking time because I do need to finish the cook in the pan. So I'm going to hit it again with some more Parmigiano Reggiano, or use your favorite cheese. I just highly recommend you shred it on your own. It allows you to control how thick that sauce is going to become. And I don't want to hit this with too much cheese either. So now I've got a little bit of half and half in here, or you can use cream. And go ahead and mix this up in the pan. And as you can see, a lot of the flavors are coming together here. And the help of the cheese is where it's going to now start helping with thickening. The half and half and the cheese are going to start doing its job. So you just want to make sure that you toss a coat. And here we've got another dusting of cheese. I think I used about, I'm going to say about 3 to 4 ounces, give or take, of freshly shaved cheese. It's really a perfect balance is what you want to do. And this is eyeballed, by the way. I don't worry about, I don't weigh out the cheese. It's kind of like a waste of time. I got some fresh basil leaves that I'm just tearing up. Adding your basil to the pan towards the end is exactly what you want to do, so the flavors are more fragrant and that basil is going to come out the minute the heat hits it. And as you see in the pan, that sauce is starting to thicken up, and this is at the point where you're about ready to shut off the heat and get your plates ready, guys, because this is ready to eat. Now, let's take a look at the final result, because honestly, this was so flipping good. I have to do this again. So simple, easy, affordable, and you have yourself the most beautiful summer garden pasta for your next meal. It was very easy to make, right? And let me tell you something, I know you can make this. So let me know if you need any help. I'll be more than happy to help you with some substitutions. And as always, please be sure to like, subscribe, and share. I thank you so much for following me along. I appreciate having you guys. Take care.